Shaun filling here with New York School of Interior Design, talking about how to add openings or cut holes essentially in ceilings or walls in AGi32. Here I have a room and an object built. This is the opening tool. It looks like a pair of scissors. You can also delete openings. And in this case, let's add an opening in the ceiling. Now notice ceiling has to be flat to add an opening to it. I'm going to choose flat ceiling. It asks me to choose the room. I'm going to pick here. And let's make an opening. I could just make a normal square opening. In this case, I'm going to hit F4 to define an arc and make kind of an unusual shaped opening. F4. Now I will right-click to close off that opening, and that's going to end it. It's going to ask if I want to put in a window. If this is a skylight, you could even assess this as a daylight entry point to the room. In this case, I will not put in a window. I'm going to treat this as just an opening in the room. How this ends up looking in render mode. So you can see the top of my room now has a hole in it. If I navigate to the middle, there is the odd hole. So I could build a spiral staircase or other things coming through that. Now remember, if you're cutting a hole in a room, light can enter through the top side of a room. So let's say we wanted to make this into a cove. Maybe above it I'm going to make an object 1 foot high. I'll put this at 8.1. And then I may want to cut the same hole in the bottom of that object. Again, I'm trying to mimic the shape, so I'm doing F4 to create those curves. And I don't want an insert in the bottom. So now, let's make sure I line things up. Yeah, there's a little bit of a gap between these two. I can move this right up to the edge. And now if I go to render mode, I have I've now created a solid pocket above where I can put things. And the object on this side, inside of the gap, the object here will ensure that I'm not leaking light into the room except through the opening. To get really good about how to make this, I would actually leave a specified gap that will be the thickness of the installation material. So let's say the gypboard ceiling might be 1 inch or 2 thick. I would actually make one more object, call it 0.2 feet thick. I'm going to put this at 8 foot. I'm going to again follow the shape of this thing. I'm just roughing it in, so if my curves don't quite match, that's on me. You'll do a better job. Now, if we look at this, I have built a solid object in the middle, and I have to turn off the top and bottom faces of that, and that will then become the lip of my cove. So edit the object. So what I'm essentially making here, I'm going to remove the bottom and remove the top. This now becomes the return on my cove, the part that's going to hide the luminaires and ensure that there's no light that leaks between the gaps. Now I've got a cove light with let's zoom in a little bit here. I've got a cove light with a little lip that hides the luminaires, and then essentially a big box up here for how the light will glow through. That is how to cut openings and make cove ceilings.